My name is Sarah Hayes, and I'm 28 years old. Life for me had always been about structure and planning. I worked as a nurse in a bustling hospital, juggling long shifts and patient care, but I never complained. I found comfort in my routine, and though my days were exhausting, they were predictable, until one day, life took an unpredictable turn. That was the day I met Alex. He worked as a medical representative for a pharmaceutical company, and we frequently crossed paths at work. At first, our conversations were brief, just polite exchanges about work. But over time, those conversations grew longer, filled with laughter and moments that left me thinking about him long after he was gone. Alex was charming, dependable, and kind. For the first time in years, I began to imagine a future beyond work, a future that included him. After a year of dating, Alex proposed. It was a quiet, heartfelt moment in the park where we first had a real conversation. His sincerity and love were evident, and without hesitation, I said yes. Overwhelmed with joy, I couldn't wait to share the news with my family. My parents were thrilled and eager to meet him. We set a date for dinner at their house so they could get to know the man who had captured my heart. The evening arrived, and I was a bundle of nerves. I introduced Alex to my parents, and they took to him immediately. Laughter filled the dining room as stories were exchanged. For the first time in a long while, everything felt perfect. That's when I heard the sound of the front door creaking open, followed by a familiar voice. "Sarah, are you here?" called out a voice that sent a chill down my spine. It was my younger sister, Jessica. Jessica and I had always been different, like night and day. While I valued order and simplicity, Jessica thrived on chaos and attention. Her vibrant personality had always drawn people to her, but it also left a trail of complications in her wake. Growing up, she had a knack for turning my life into a whirlwind. And now, seeing her at this moment, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of unease. Jessica stepped into the room, her smile as bright as ever. Her eyes scanned the room before landing on Alex. "Oh, who's this?" she asked, her voice dripping with curiosity. "Sarah, you didn't tell me you had such a handsome fiancé." "This is Alex," I said, trying to keep my tone neutral. "We're engaged." Jessica's smile widened. "Well, isn't this a surprise? Congratulations." Her words were friendly, but her tone felt insincere. Alex, ever polite, greeted her warmly, but I noticed the way her eyes lingered on him. A knot tightened in my stomach, but I pushed the thought away. Jessica had her flaws, but surely she wouldn't cross that line. As the weeks went by, Jessica became a frequent visitor. She claimed she wanted to help with wedding preparations, but her presence often felt more disruptive than helpful. She insisted on joining Alex and me for appointments, picking out flowers, tasting cakes, even selecting the wedding venue. At first, I thought she was genuinely excited for me, but her constant attention toward Alex didn't go unnoticed. "Jessica, you don't have to come to every meeting," I said one day, trying to sound casual. "Oh, don't be silly," she replied with a laugh. "I just want to help. Besides, Alex seems to enjoy my company, don't you, Alex?" Alex smiled politely but said nothing. I tried to convince myself that I was being paranoid. Jessica was my sister after all. But as her visits grew more frequent, so did my doubts. Then came the night that changed everything. Jessica called me unexpectedly, asking to meet at a cafe nearby. Her tone was serious, and I assumed she wanted to discuss something about the wedding. When I arrived, my heart sank. Jessica wasn't alone. Alex was there too, sitting across from her. "Jessica, what's going on?" I asked, my voice trembling. Jessica looked at me, her expression unreadable. "Sarah, there's something I need to tell you." "What is it?" I asked, though part of me already dreaded the answer. Jessica hesitated before blurting out, "Alex and I are in love." For a moment, I couldn't process her words. "What are you talking about?" I managed to say. Alex looked down, unable to meet my eyes. "I'm sorry, Sarah," he said softly. "It wasn't planned, but it happened." Jessica, as if she hadn't already done enough damage, added, "And there's more. I'm pregnant." The world around me seemed to collapse. My sister, my own flesh and blood, had not only betrayed me, but had also shattered the life I was building with Alex. Without another word, I walked out of the cafe, leaving them behind. I didn't need to hear any more. Their actions spoke louder than any apology ever could. In the days that followed, I barely left my apartment. My parents were furious when they found out. My father, usually composed, declared that Jessica was no longer welcome in our home. My mother tried to mediate, but even she couldn't forgive Jessica for what she had done. Time passed, but the pain lingered. I changed jobs, moved to a new city, and tried to rebuild my life. 5 years went by, and though the scars remained, I had learned to live with them. Then, one afternoon, my phone rang. "Sarah," said a voice I hadn't heard in years. "It's Jessica." Hearing her voice again stirred a whirlwind of emotions: anger, sadness, confusion. Before I could respond, she continued, "I need your help. Can you take care of my daughter for a while?" Her words caught me off guard. "Your daughter?" I asked. "Yes, her name is Lily. She's 4 now," Jessica said casually, as if she were asking me to water her plants. "I can't look after her right now, so I thought of you." I wanted to say no. After everything she had done, how could she expect me to help her? But then I thought of the child, innocent and caught in the middle of Jessica's chaos. Reluctantly, I agreed to meet her. Jessica showed up at my doorstep later that evening, holding the hand of a small, timid girl. Lily clung to her mother, her wide eyes scanning the unfamiliar surroundings. Jessica, on the other hand, seemed eager to leave. "Take care of her for me," she said, pushing Lily toward me. Without waiting for a response, Jessica turned and walked away. Lily was a quiet child, but her silence spoke volumes. She rarely smiled, flinched at loud noises, and avoided eye contact. It was clear that she had been neglected, perhaps even mistreated. As a nurse, I recognized the signs of malnutrition and emotional trauma. Over time, Lily began to open up. It started with small gestures, a nod when I asked her a question, a shy smile when I offered her a snack. One night, as I tucked her into bed, she whispered, "Thank you." Those 2 words broke my heart. How long had she gone without kindness or love? Determined to give her the life she deserved, I decided to fight for custody. My parents and I worked tirelessly to ensure Lily would never have to return to Jessica's unstable care. Years passed, and Lily flourished under our love and guidance. She excelled in school, made friends, and discovered a passion for dance. Watching her grow into a happy, confident child was the greatest reward. But just as we were beginning to find peace, Jessica returned. It was a cold winter evening when she showed up unannounced at my door. She looked disheveled, her once vibrant demeanor replaced with desperation. "Sarah, I want Lily back," she said, her voice firm. "You abandoned her," I replied, my anger bubbling to the surface. "You left her with nothing and disappeared. Now you want her back?" "She's my daughter," Jessica shot back. "I have every right to take her." But Lily, now old enough to understand, stepped forward. "No," she said firmly. "I don't want to go with you." Jessica looked stunned. "Lily, I'm your mother." "No," Lily repeated, her voice steady. "You're not my mom. Sarah is." The strength in Lily's voice left Jessica speechless. It was a moment of triumph, not just for me, but for Lily as well. She had found her voice, her courage, and her place in the world. Jessica left that night, her threats echoing in the cold air. But I knew she wouldn't be back. Lily was safe, and together, we had built a life filled with love, trust, and hope. As the years went on, Lily continued to thrive. She pursued her dreams, and I supported her every step of the way. Looking back, I realized that the challenges we faced had only made our bond stronger, and though the scars of the past remained, they no longer defined us. We had found peace, and for that,